Alex Answer here. It is January 2nd in the year 2019 when fake truthers target small YouTube content creators when they share their story, or when the real fake TIs target people that have had legitimate poltergeist experiences. So we're going to talk a little bit about this today in just a minute. There's a link down below. There is a video and it'll take you to a Portlander's channel, right? Of all places. And he's targeting, as if he is Antifa himself, he's targeting another guy on the internet that's sharing his story, saying he knows what it's like to be targeted or to have a psychosis. And he is accusing the other person of putting out information with the intent of harming others. And all Esoteric Gypsy is doing is telling the story. And I think that you need to see this. You need to see this behavior. Knowing what you've already heard from me about Portlanders, that callous nature, how I had an experience in my hometown with Portlanders that was very dark as an activist. And I talked about the paranoia that lives there and just the constant accusation that I was a member of the government just because I had a cable access TV show. And this is a level of psychosis that you cannot debate with. In fact, some TIs seem like they're being targeted to target others. And it could be an extremist form of politics where some people are targeted on that level. You know, the Alex Jones deception. But then you have people like this that have the luxury of being able to have some extra time to be on the internet, to have software that they probably didn't have to pay for, like open source broadcasting. And then he gets to use this technology to target another person who already has been through the ringer. You don't need to agree with everything that somebody says just to leave somebody the fuck alone. Yeah, hello McFly. So we are in the age of the targeted individual, but it's a bigger conversation than what they're trying to make it. Some people are trying to make it a conversation about, hey, I have all the knowledge as to what's going on. And whatever you're talking about is absolutely fake. They are, in reality, acting on behalf of those dark forces, what I call the Archons. And this is where other individuals, right, because they have the Archon hijack, they'll literally go after people with a different view of the paranormal. You have this entire world that does acknowledge the battle of good and evil, but they don't go after the churches. They don't go after the institutions. They look for prey online. They look for prey online. People that are smaller YouTube content creators. People that are speaking to only a few people. Esoteric Gypsy, for example, started a channel. He probably has 12 subscribers. Somebody looks at that, and they go, oh, look at you, how small you are. Ooh, I'm so much bigger than you in views and content. I could so target you with my audience. And then if you actually look at the likes versus dislikes, right, this crazy person who's babbling, more of his audience likes what he's doing to an innocent man who didn't come to his channel than the people that are going to dislike it. So you literally have YouTube communities of people that targeted individuals, calling them fake when they're not even in someone else's life or comment section. We live in the world now where if someone has a different political opinion, if someone didn't vote Trump, if someone has a different idea on the battle of good and evil, right, they will be called the system. This is psychosis. And there are people acting right now at levels to where, add in some additional programming, some of these people could be, and let intuition fill in the rest. Not your linear mind. Let intuition fill in the rest. Are some of these people capable of actually taking action? I don't mean this guy at the link down below, but others. When some people are targeted and they're hearing voices in the head, and people that are actually good spirits, that are actually dealing with archonic attack, then they're attacked by humans that are controlled by archons, this is the real TI program. And the guy that's actually acting like he's claiming to, know what the real program is because he's dealt with years of thinking the whole city was after him. Well, first of all, sir, if you're like a lot of other people, and there's tons of them in Portland that run around thinking that the whole city's involved in a TI program targeting them specifically. But if you actually talk about archons and demons, oh, you're going to get hit big time. And if you actually talk about that stuff on Access TV, they'll call you names, right? You'll find yourself without a place to live. And these people that act like they have the moral high ground over the right wing, are wider in many cases than some of these real conservative areas where you at least can find some Hispanics. And in some cases, by the way, I'm not a conservative or liberal, but I'm being fair to the other side. You can find some black and Latino conservatives. In some cases, more. Now, I think they're being used, but we don't really need to go down that road too deep. I go into the left-right paradigm deception in other videos. My point is, it's as white as Wonder Bread in some of these communities where they're also loving. They're also loving. And you'll actually find in some cases more genetic diversity in parts of rural America. I had to escape Portland's coldness. So this individual, Esoteric Gypsy, does a shout out to me. And I notice how people will get attacked if they do that. He mentions Off the Grid. And the guy in Portland saying, oh, you'll go out and die. See, he's trying to tell people to go out and die. As far as like that's his evidence that Esoteric Gypsy is bad. And some of you even may hate him anyways because he's Jewish. And that's also something you need to be aware of. Here we have what's obviously a young Nordic man who's attacking a Jewish individual for sharing his story. I'm sorry, what? What else do I need to say on this? That's not cool at all. That's not unique. That's not progressive. That's not independent. That's psycho. He's just too small to actually be in a neo-Nazi gang. But these are actually the current generation of young people that use technology to target others, whereas earlier generations maybe would have joined gangs or would have had to learn how to fight or box in the real world, where they actually had to talk shit to each other's face and not hide behind a computer, not hide behind fake names. But you're in the generation of that. You're in the world in which that is taking place. Now, that is not to say that everyone that uses an anonymous handle on YouTube is a bad dude. But some people absolutely are. That's why they will always be anonymous. That's why you will not know who they are. The other thing that you're going to see often in this ethnocentric culture, you do often see religious white folk calling anything that comes from a minority that isn't Christian of the devil. This is just how it is and how it will be. Can you fight it? Can you try to prove to some of these individuals that no, we really do not line up at the altar and do what you think we do just because we're not in your religions? But unfortunately, this is what people do. They will target Muslims, they will target Jews, they will target independents, and they will claim somehow that that individual is victimizing them or others. Now, they won't have evidence and they won't have proof, but there will literally be internet gangs of people that roam together that look for people to target, because some of these people, they're actually trying to target them to where the other person just offs themselves. That's actually what some people have actually tried to do to me during periods in which I showed you emotion. And I wanted to be myself and say, look, it took a lot to escape this, but there's part of me that misses my hometown of Portland, Oregon. I feel pushed out. I feel pushed out by people like that guy in that video that'll come up and go, you're crazy. You're a piece of crap, but we're superior to you. We're superior to you. No matter what you say, Alex, you're crazy, but we're superior to you. And then they'll say, and we're superior to those crazy racist Trump people. We're so superior as we jump on cars. No, you're not. You're not. You may be a targeted individual, but in this case, you're doing the targeting. In this case, Stephen, you're doing the targeting. Stephen, you're doing the targeting to a man that said nothing to you. And that's what this is. That's the psychosis that Stephen is living while accusing someone else. So the audience needs to see this behavior and the telegraphing. This has become the norm, right? Some people take their psychosis beyond just a few comments, and then they decide to show that to the whole world. Well, first throwing up an anonymous name, maybe putting on a hat, maybe putting on a disguise, maybe a little wow, wow, right? Everybody plays the fool. Yeah, some more than others. So links down below, right? Man starts a new YouTube channel, talks about poltergeist, talks about the paranormal, but he used the TI word. A little bit of maybe advice then to Esoteric Gypsy. I think that mostly it's negative energy that comes back as a result of that type of content based on how you tag it. The algorithm seems to be working against us also, and you were given your own advice, right, to get away from electronics and even promoting off the grid if one can do it. And watch how many TIs laugh. And they say, if you do that, you will be killed or you will go out and die. But if one of us actually does it and we're alive in our 3rd year, no one says a thing. Oh yeah, must be the government. Must be the government. Nobody can actually accomplish something on their own. No one can actually be strong enough to actually make it through the night without actually having the heat on. Oh yeah, don't even pay attention to that dude's success story over there. Let's just pick on people that we can pick on. And it's like, you need to understand this is how people are. Now, the reason why you need to understand that, if any of you in the future, but I think my life's going to be a lot quieter in the coming years, not louder, but quieter. So I think there's been the time for socializing. But in the future, right, there could be people that go, I may want to approach Alex Ansary with this idea. Could be Alternative Media Network. Could be a big camp trip. Not so likely. You know, but hey, you know, anything can happen. Hey, Alex, bro, we got a truther camp out. 25 people strong are coming. Adam Kokesh won't even be there. Really? Adam Kokesh won't even be there? Adam Kokesh won't even be there. But these dudes will. I'm down. Like, yeah. But see, there's going to be like a normal way of respect, bro. There's going to be ways in which people talk over time, in which friendships are built. I've literally seen friendships come about between me and absolute strangers in a matter of hours to days based on intuition and the energy. Others, they're like, hi, I'm your friend. That's not what my intuition shows me. You're coming after me while saying, I'm your friend. And there are people that don't know that some of us can see that a mile away. Sometimes they get angry when we can see them for who they are. And they'll be like that character from the movie. Let me in. You're going to die in there. And like we've seen this, like the split personalities, like, hi, I'm your friend. No, you're not gonna be my friend, as a blade slowly starts coming out from their back. And that's a metaphor for other shitty things that somebody may choose to do to someone else that they're targeting online. So I get into the various types of ways in which a human could be attacked by a variety of forces. It could be attacked by the government. Other YouTubers could decide to attack an innocent person or bully them because they have a different worldview. And there's spiritual attack. This has been talked about for thousands of years. But in an ethnic-centric, an ethnocentric society with arrogant Portlanders, oh, they're a dime a dozen, I think they have all the esoteric knowledge figured out, where in fact, from my experience, they know very little. Most of them are on the dark side of witchcraft, if they're into anything, or churches, or atheists, or the S&M bondage dungeon. And no offense to those of you that may be good Portlanders, or people that I've known, or friends of mine that are watching at this time. Although there are very few and can be counted on less than one hand. So take this as advice. I'm going to try to wrap things up. Take this as advice regarding what you don't want to do. Right? You don't want to go back and forth with people that somehow wake up and have an obsession that they're going to target that guy with 12 subscribers or however many thousand. I mean, there are people out there that are actually doing wrong in this world. Did you know that? Yes or no? But yet the psychosis is rising of the other elements of the TIs that are on the dark side. Some have been targeted so far. I warned you about this, didn't I? I talked exactly like Stephen, or about Stephen, about the archetypes of the Stephens. The people that will become so targeted that they will target other people that have been targeted because they've been hurt so bad. Because they've been hurt so bad that someone else that may be at the brink, right? Maybe they can push them just a little bit. Maybe a little bit of harassment. So I would like to think that the Alex Ansary audience understands this stuff and has morals and has ethics, right? We got a couple freaks in the room, but there's a couple people out there that are totally legit, right? Do the right thing. Some of you may be Jewish. Some of you may know a little bit more about this, and that there are people on YouTube now creating YouTube channels to target people that speak their truth. Homie, don't play that. That's not cool. The link is down below. Take a look at the video, right? Tell me what you think. Are you seeing more of this on YouTube, where people are looking away from Trump or looking away from the politicians, even those on the left, and they're looking for just individual people in their psychosis to say, there's the devil in that form. And then tell me, Why is it that so many people that are pointing their finger seem to have certain things that are similar about them? While the people that they're targeting, oh, look at that group. And that guy, his unorthodox teachings, he's of the devil. Look at the types of people that they choose to be their targets. While other people with big mega views, deceiving people overtly, they don't say a word about them. Evil doesn't come against evil. It comes against good. Finally, I want to thank those of you that do support these broadcasts. It's not often that I hit record and I come to somebody's aid that's being viciously attacked on the internet. I try to stay away from a lot of things, but I've had some things happen to me that I haven't even talked about because I've tried to just evolve beyond it. But when something's happened to other people and I'm watching on the sidelines, it's difficult to be silent. It's also difficult to come to the aid of people that are overtly racist. And some people are so damaged upstairs that they think that they can be overtly racist to different groups and expect independent online journalists to come to their aid. Some people think that we were born to serve them in their superiority complex. And in my life, I've come across many wicked men within the society. I think that my existence only exists if I'm going to relate to them to serve under them, to understand them. It's like, no. I am my own man. I don't care if you have a foot on me. I don't care if you see me as X, Y, Z. I know that I have a library of knowledge information that some humans on this planet actually respect and want to hear more of. And then I know there are others, there are the fallen sort that want to see the content stop, that want to see the warnings about what's happening geopolitically stop. No one from Portland, especially the younger crowd, it was always the older crowd that got it, right? The younger crowd never got the idea or the importance of understanding what's coming in 10 years. And it's ironic because you do have people that are angry about Trump, but it seems to be very much about politics, not so much, well, where are we really going to be in 5 years or 10 years, in 15 years and 20 years? Because if that actually was the case, they would have been asking questions like that during George Bush Jr. or Barack Obama. But it was always about getting to the next election, always about getting to the next election. I remember being out there with a megaphone about one day we will need to be prepared and learn to live without the dollar. And this woman was looking at me with hatred. This woman was looking at me with hatred or fear. So I've always come across that, again, first the left-dominated structures until I was in my 30s. And it wasn't until I was in my 30s, or specifically 36, that I would end up in a dominant rule Republican part of North America. Not because they're my homies, we don't break bread. It was more or less running away from the spite of the Portlanders that acted like they had the knowledge, acted like they had the heart, acted like they had the style, but I was really looking at the microcosm of the fallen world. I even reached out, I think, to another place in Colorado, another town, posted on a Reddit page a video that I did, just commentary, just like this. And the comments were like, mentally ill, dude, you need to talk to someone, right after the other. None of the comments were normal comments. They were all 100% troll comments from a subreddit right here in Colorado. I was just trying to make real friends outside of YouTube. Boy, I won't try to make that mistake anytime soon. And some people wonder why I'm off the grid. Right? So pray for Esoteric Gypsy, but advice to him, hey, they're going to come after individuals. They're going to use those buzzwords. We need to think outside the box. There's a reason he is anonymous. And that's a reason why some people might want to be anonymous. If they start a YouTube channel, they start talking about paranormal experiences, boom, they've had a channel a couple of weeks. All of a sudden, somebody's putting them on Front Street who has like so many thousand more subscribers and viewers, right? To throw that person negative energy. Does it seem like an accident? Doesn't it seem a little synchronistic, right? For a guy who's already been targeted for the paranormal or by the paranormal? To then have someone who looks like he hates the earth itself? To have someone looking like he doesn't appreciate the room that he's living in, the fact that he's not on the streets, as the young Portland Nordic boy targets a Jew. Interesting.